Hey everyone! For today's video I'm doing another watercolor piece, though much simpler background-wise than the last one. Not that that would be hard to do. So, as I've probably mentioned a few times, I have about 3 comics. And of them, only one of them is updates at a time because of the way I work on things. So we'll get like an issue worth of pages, because again, I think in physical comics before online posting, that's just how I tend to work on things. So we'll get a bunch done, and then I'll move on to something else, and then there tends to be long breaks in between those. Because again, how I work on things is I'll do a pile of pages for one thing, but I'll work on other ones around the same time. So while I'm actively working on penciling and inking and coloring pages for one, I'll be ironing out details for storylines and such to set up another one, and working on backgrounds for another one, etc., etc. And right now I'm untangling some stuff that got pushed around timeline-wise to a point where looking at it did not make sense for Mask and Cape, and also frantically trying to get the next issue of WKT done in time to order it so I can get proofs before Planet Comic-Con, because that is soon. Anyways, so Mask and Cape is my superhero comic. Again, I have 3 that have pages done for them anyways. Several more that have less than that, but those aren't worth mentioning. I have my weird sci-fi thing, which is QIT. I have Mask and Cape, which is superheroes. And then I have WKT, which is a fantasy watercolor slice of life sort of thing. See last week's videos. And while QIT follows a core team of 4 people, the other 2 both follow a bunch of people. Like, WKT has little, 2 to 5 page generally segments devoted to each character. Mask and Cape has arcs devoted to different characters depending on issue to issue. Like for the next few issues, at least the next 2, it will be mainly focused on oh my gosh, I can't even remember my own characters' names right now. That's sad. No. Chartreuse and Sparkle, and basically who I tend to refer to as the main 3, because in the overarching plot that kind of links all of Mask and Cape together, they are rather involved. But there are several other smaller, I suppose, groups of heroes and villains that go throughout it, including these 2. This is Atlas and Jive. Atlas has sort of the generic superhero powers, flight, and some form of augmented strength. Probably not invulnerability thinking about it, I think just the flight and the strength. Jive has a little bit of a more interesting one. Her powers are basically a flash dance, flash mob sort of thing. So she can, which is a form of mind control, I guess, but very, very specific, based on music of sorts. And the introduction of these 2, both in the story and to each other, is not fun. And right now I'm working on ironing out the timeline, because originally it was going to happen, a lot of their story was going to happen before, but then I realized since it needed to tie into another thing that was happening after what I'm working on now, it's kind of a mess right now, and I'm trying to figure that out and iron down details of when is this happening? When does this happen? How does that happen? And it's not very fun for them. So I wanted to paint something real quick since I was thinking about them, and also because when I do angst, I tend to override it with cute stuff instead. So jumping forward to when things are happy and not sad, and I guess spoilers for the comic that's not gonna get done for like a year or two. So yeah. But anyways, I wanted to paint something happier for them because, again, I'm working right now on the last few pages for WKT and also the cover and formatting that so I can get that order done in time to actually get proofs before Planet, because I've had issues in the past with watercolors not displaying on a screen a way that they don't print, which is always really fun to discover when I have proofs, let alone when I don't have time, and it's like, oh great, I have an entire order that I can't use because they're the wrong color. Oops. And so I didn't have time to do anything that elaborate, so I went with watercolor. Just wanted a simpler watercolor piece, so decided to go with these two because they need to be happy. They won't be for a while, but that's okay. And while Jive neither of them have really shown up yet in Mask and Cape, which I will post a link to below. The first issue is completely done posting. The second issue is in the thumbnailing stage, and their story will show up later. I'm not sure when new pages will be done. I'm hoping for April, but I'm not sure how that's going to end up going. But yes, links to that below, and both of them have technically shown up in the background. Because the fun thing about Mask and Cape is a lot of the characters are in high school just because there's that inherent drama that goes with it. You know, give them the problem of teenagers as well as the problems of superheroes in their weird-ass little town. But the really fun thing about that is that because I have 12,000 characters for it, when I need to do, like school shots, I can put other characters in the background and it's really fun. Be like, these guys aren't gonna show up. These guys aren't gonna have speaking spots or even really show up at all until later, but I can put them in now, and that's really fun. So both of them are actually in the first issue. Different pages, but oh well. And yeah, here is the finished piece. I decided to throw some liquid watercolor on the background to make it brighter, and I'm really happy I did that. Adds a little more depth to the simplicity of it. And yeah, thanks for watching. As always, I have links to all of my other social media below. And yeah, bye!